The most expensive World Cup in history is held in Qatar and is the FIFA World Cup 2022. This is not surprising given that the event is being held in a rich Middle Eastern country, but it's not the fact of the record that stands out but the sequence of the numbers. It's been officially revealed that the championship cost $220 billion. In comparison, Russia spent $11.6 billion and $14.2 billion on the previous World Cup in 2018, almost 15 to 20 times less. This sum includes the construction of 6 contemporary stadiums from the ground up, and 2 stadiums were rebuilt, as well as a high-quality organization that even British journalists praised. But that's not the end. So what could such vast sums of money be spent on in Qatar? Hey everyone, welcome to Loot Season. In today's video, we are going to look at how Qatar spent $220 billion on the World Cup 2022. So let's dig right into it. Firstly, we'll look at the stadiums that were especially built for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Bayt Stadium, Al Khor City. Capacity 60,000. The World Cup started on November 20th in Bayt Stadium, a venue designed by Dar Al Handasa that debuted in 2021 and will also host one of the tournament's quarterfinal matches. A PTFE, polytetrafluoroethylene woven fiberglass membrane designed to imitate a tent traditionally used by nomadic people in Qatar, and the Gulf area has a retractable roof to complement cooling technology. Following the World Cup, the 60,000-seat facility will be reduced to 40,000 seats. The modular upper deck will be demolished, and the seats will be reused at other sporting venues across the world. Along with the surrounding green space, the top concourse will be transformed, with the skybox level becoming a 5-star hotel. The stadium will have a commercial complex, food court, gym, multipurpose hall, and sports medicine hospital. Lusail Stadium. Capacity 80,000. The tournament's main stadium, which will host the title match, is designed by architects Foster & Partners and Populous. The facade is inspired by the light and shadow of a fanar lantern, with triangular panels and a steel frame, as well as extra decorations replicating the designs seen on regional artistic bowls. The seating bowl has 3 tiers and will open on the 9th of September 2022. The PTFE roof allows light into the natural grass field while protecting it from warm wind and dust and providing shade to decrease the strain on the venue's air conditioning. Following the competition, Qatar says the site may be converted into affordable homes, stores, food outlets, health clinics, or even a school. The upper tier will most likely be converted into an outdoor patio for new residences. Ahmed Bin Ali Stadium. Capacity 40,000. The 40,000-seat arena, which opened in 2020, replaces a stadium that originally stood in the same location. The shimmering facade was conceived by Rambol and Pattern Design and consists of patterns relevant to the region, including the undulations of sand dunes. More than 90% of the previous stadium's construction components were reused or repurposed, and trees were relocated to other areas of the land. Following the World Cup, 20,000 seats will be removed and repurposed for other sporting events, and the stadium will house a local soccer team. Janoub Stadium. Capacity 40,000. The 40,000-seat stadium was inspired by the sails of traditional dhow boats as a nod to the city's seafaring past. The retractable roof stadium, which debuted in 2019, will be used year-round by the local soccer team before being reduced to 20,000 seats after the World Cup. The 416-ton roof was constructed on 6 temporary frames before being hauled into place and soldered together. Steel wires can open and close the steel framework. The stadium was designed by AECOM and Zaha Hadid Architects. Thumama Stadium. Capacity 40,000. The white exterior pops up against the green surroundings to imitate a gaffia, a traditional woven cap worn by men and boys throughout the Middle East. The 40,000-seat venue, designed by architect Ibrahim M. Jaida, opened in 2021. The gaffia design is more than a cultural homage. The cap-like form was intended to work in tandem with the cooling technology to guard against piercing sun. Following the World Cup, 20,000 seats will be removed and a boutique hotel with views of the soccer pitch will replace the stadium's top stands. Education City Stadium. Capacity 40,000. The 40,000-seat stadium's facade, designed by Fenwick Iribaran Architects and Pattern Design, opened in 2020 and will use triangles that form a diamond-like geometrical pattern that appears to change color as the sun moves across the sky. That same facade transforms into a computerized light show at night. Following the World Cup, 20,000 seats will be removed as part of a community sports center, and the top tier of the facility will be converted into classrooms for surrounding colleges. Isn't it crazy? Khalifa International Stadium. Capacity 40,000. The stadium was initially built in 1976, but was renovated in 2017 by Dar al-Handasa, the original stadium architect, in preparation for the global stage. The stadium's dual arches were preserved and linked by a large canopy to enable the cooling system's integration. The new deck of 10,450 seats increased the capacity to 40,000, and a new LED lighting system enhances the fan experience. Stadium 974. Capacity 40,000. This is the first World Cup stadium that will be completely dismantled after the event. It is made entirely of 974 shipping containers, which is also the region's international dialing number, and modular steel. The conventional shipping containers, designed by Fenwick Iribarren architects as a tribute to Qatar's heritage in global trade and seafaring, offer a colorful array for everything from concessions to stairs, and the modular design lowered material requirements. Many of the components required for the venue were delivered to the site in the containers now in use. Because of its placement among natural wind patterns, the seating bowl for the venue's 2021 opening relies on breezes rather than cooling equipment for ventilation. So, how much was spent on these stadiums? Anywhere around $6.5 to $12 billion was spent on stadiums. So what about the other $200 billion? The remainder of the funds was spent on infrastructure projects. They are all part of the state program Qatar National Vision (QNV) 2030, which was adopted in 2008 as a strategy for Qatar's national development and modernization. The program's purpose is to convert Qatar into a modern society capable of attaining sustainable development by 2030. QNV is separated into 4 sections. The economic one calls for the country to shift away from the raw material model of economic development and towards the knowledge economy. The Human Development Division is dedicated to enhancing education and healthcare quality. The environmental section describes the implementation of advanced technology to reduce pollution. Throughout addition to protecting cultural assets and encouraging family values, the social component of the program aims to popularize sport in the country. Housing the World Cup is a crucial component of the QNV, which will, on the one hand, promote interest in sport in Qatar, while also demonstrating to the world the country's achievements on a route to significant transformations. As a result, Qatari officials reasoned that all projects being completed as part of the QNV implementation are part of the World Cup preparations, which implies that the prices for them include, among other things, the costs of staging the World Cup. As a result, all this costs the staggering $220 billion figure. That's it. Actually not. The number of facilities already developed in Qatar for the 2022 World Cup is astonishing. The metro in Doha, the country's capital, opened in 2019. Currently, 37 stations and 3 of the 4 planned 76-kilometer lines are operational. Passengers are served by ultramodern driverless trains capable of reaching speeds of up to 107 kilometers per hour. The subway cost the country more than $40 billion to build. By the way, there was no practical necessity for Qatar to develop a subway because the majority of the country's population commutes by private automobile. However, the environmental component of QNV states that by 2030, 20% of Qataris will use public transportation. Another major project is the Hamad International Airport, which cost well over $16 billion, opened in 2014. Its predecessor, Qatar International Airport, was not bad and was ranked among the greatest airports in the world, but it fell short of the Qataris' higher expectations. It could accommodate up to 12 million passengers per year, but now it can accommodate up to 60 million people every year. In comparison, the largest Russian airport, Sheremetyevo, saw a record passenger flow of 46 million people in 2018. To assure the supply of building materials, Qatar opened the Hamad Port, $7.5 billion in 2016, which can handle 7.8 million containers per year. The bottom was deepened to 17 meters to do this. The bay in the Doha region is quite shallow, and large container ships could not previously reach Qatar. Cargo bound for the country was unloaded in the neighboring UAE before being transported to Qatar by smaller vessels. This logistical issue no longer exists, and a major cruise terminal is being developed in the harbour to accommodate large tourist ships. During the World Cup, Qatar chartered 4 of these liners to address a pressing issue with fan accommodation. Another major development was the Doha Expressway, $8 billion, a new road network for Doha and its surroundings, which was developed in Qatar for the World Cup. The overall length of new highways was 800 kilometers, with 95 interchanges, 200 bridges, 90 underpasses, and 50 tunnels created. An advanced monitoring and control system is installed across the new road system. Aside from highways, 450 kilometers of pedestrian sidewalks and cycling paths were constructed. However, the creation of the new city of Lusail on the site of a little town north of Doha is the largest expenditure component of the 2022 World Cup budget. According to its specifications, 37 square kilometers, 250,000 permanent residents, it is a carbon replica of Stalingrad, which is part of Moscow. The similarity, however, ends there. Lusail was intended as a future city, with the goal of maximizing the comfort of residents and tourists while minimizing environmental damage. The last match of the 2022 World Cup will be hosted in Lusail at the 80,000-seat Lusail Iconic Stadium. After the World Cup, it should compete with Dubai as a home for tens of thousands of highly qualified foreign professionals, a location for international firms' headquarters, and a world-class resort. The budget that went in to create Lusail is unknown. The Qatari officials called the amount $45 billion at the start of the project in 2014, but since then, there haven't been much news on how much was spent to create the city of Lusail. So, do you agree with me on this, that the establishments built in Qatar would help it overcome the UAE when it comes to tourism? If you agree, let us know in the comment section down below. That's all for this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment on this video if you enjoy it. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Thanks for watching.